For centuries, the architecture of a church pointed toward the sky. The vaulted ceilings, the silence, and the stained glass were precise physical elements engineered to lift your gaze upward, inspiring a sense of sacred awe. But competing for human attention in a digital age requires a different strategy. Surrounded by constant noise and endless screens, Western Christianity rebranded to stay relevant in a landscape where attention is the primary currency. The traditional steeples and wooden pews have largely vanished. In their place are massive warehouse-style campuses surrounded by thousands of parking spaces. The exterior looks less like a religious sanctuary and more like a modern tech company's headquarters. This is the seeker-friendly hospitality model, designed to erase the intimidating barriers of traditional religion. Stepping into the lobby, you are met with premium artisanal espresso bars and boutiques selling minimalist streetwear, packaging faith as a high-end consumer lifestyle. On a Sunday morning, the main auditorium transforms into a concert-grade stadium rock production. This is the Neon Sanctuary, where ancient hymns are replaced by pop rock anthems designed for maximum acoustic impact. This level of investment raises a difficult question. Are these multi-million-dollar mega-productions facilitating a connection with the divine, or are they simply engineering a temporary chemical dopamine hit? To understand the mechanics of this experience, look at the architecture of the room itself. Most are built on the black box design philosophy. Every window and natural light source is eliminated, giving the production crew absolute, uninterrupted control over the sensory environment. Operating from a massive tech booth that rivals a television broadcast network, the crew commands audiovisual infrastructure that costs millions of dollars to install and maintain. The acoustic physics are meticulously calibrated. Audio engineers use heavy line-array subwoofers to push out massive low-frequency bass waves. The system is so powerful that the music vibrates directly against your chest cavity. This is an animation showing how the brain processes these stimuli. The synchronous strobe lights, theatrical haze, and building musical swells stream directly into the sensory cortex. The entire sequence is mathematically designed to trigger the brain's reward system. At the exact moment the bass drops and the lights flash, the brain releases a flood of dopamine. This triggers a sudden, powerful physiological high that the mind interprets as a profound emotional event. This engineered biological response provides a powerful form of emotional release. For 20 minutes a week, the sensory overload acts as a therapeutic escape from modern anxiety, functioning as a high-production catharsis rather than spiritual transformation. When the music fades, the singular star of the production takes the stage. The lead pastor acts as the primary architect of the church's global brand, serving as both the messenger and the central attraction. They often preach wearing ripped designer jeans and $1,000 sneakers. This aesthetic signals cultural relevance to a trend-aware demographic, aligning the figure of the pastor with the aesthetics of a modern fashion icon. The sermons match the wardrobe. Theological study is often condensed into practical life advice and motivational soundbites. Every line is delivered with a rhythm designed to be clipped for viral TikToks and Instagram reels, turning the khutbah into a social media asset. Offstage, the leader remains isolated from the congregation. Pastors navigate these campuses behind a layer of personal assistance and security details, spending their time in luxurious VIP green rooms before walking onto the stage. This dynamic creates a one-sided parasocial relationship. The audience feels they know the person on the screen, but the person on the screen is effectively an unreachable corporate executive. The religious message becomes inseparable from a personal brand. Operating a high-growth corporate model creates an arms race of excellence. To prevent the audience from moving to a cooler, more modern venue, churches must constantly increase capital spending on lighting rigs, cameras, and production values. As the financial stakes rise, these organizations adopt corporate defense mechanisms. To insulate the brand's reputation from internal criticism, many megachurches require staff and volunteers to sign strict non-disclosure agreements, prioritizing the image of the institution over transparency. When legal mechanisms like NDAs serve to protect a growth metric above all else, internal accountability disappears. This environment allows toxicity to fester in the workplace, as leaders are shielded from the consequences of moral failures or abusive management styles to keep the brand's public face flawless. Out in the pews, this leads to acute brand fatigue. The relentless weekly pressure to maintain a manufactured emotional high eventually drains the people it was designed to reach. Treating a congregation like a consumer base inevitably leads to customer churn. Believers eventually burn out, realizing that a flawlessly produced experience can be a mile wide while remaining only an inch deep. This burnout has triggered a cultural wave known as deconstruction. A mass exodus of young people is walking away from the megachurch model, rejecting the polished hype of celebrity-driven religion. They are leaving the stadium arenas for micro-communities and house churches. These smaller groups prioritize messy, human interaction and genuine community over high-production stage performances. There is an unexpected generational craving for ancient liturgy. Gen Z is trading the fog machines and lasers for the quiet sacredness of traditional rituals, incense and candlelight, seeking a connection that feels rooted in history. This poses the ultimate stress test for the neon sanctuary. If the power grid failed and the technology was stripped away, would there still be anything left to worship? The search for truth among younger believers suggests that spectacle cannot replace substance. In an age of manufactured highs, many are finding that the most profound connection occurs in a sanctuary that requires no power.